Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be giving you guys my ultimate guide comparing GTA Online's biker business versus Finance and Felony's CEO crate buying and selling system. That's right, everyone wants to know what's better, doing CEO missions or doing biker business missions, and that's exactly what I'm going to be telling you guys in this video today. I'm going to be running you through the ultimate breakdown. I've got so many different categories to go through here, so hopefully this video isn't stretched out too long, but I know it's really important because a lot of people are concerned. Do I just keep doing CEO missions? Do I transfer to biker stuff? I'm going to tell you about all of that in this video today. So let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. Okay, so in order to properly compare this, we have to start from the beginning, and that's where we're going to start, at the startup. So the CEO stuff is very expensive. In terms of initial startup cost, it is much more. Obviously, the CEO offices are going to be more expensive, ranging anywhere from $1 million to $6 million. The warehouses, if you want to get a large one, is also more expensive than some of the biker warehouses that you'll end up investing in. So as far as that goes, it is a much more expensive startup because the biker stuff is relatively cheap. You can purchase a clubhouse for, anywhere from $200,000, and then you can get the warehouses for $200,000 around there as well. So really, you can spend around $1 million and be fully set up as a biker. Whereas if you're doing the CEO stuff, you're going to need definitely more than $1 million, close to probably 3 or 4 to get fully set up and started. So that's your startup costs right there. We of course know that the CEO stuff is limited to 4 players. It's yourself and 3 other associates. So you do have fewer players to help you out on these missions, and you can also do them with less total people. Whereas we know the biker stuff has 8 total players, which obviously more help means some missions will be slightly easier and you'll have more people to assist you in doing missions and whatnot. Now, the CEO stuff probably takes place about 95% in the city, whereas the biker stuff, you really can choose how much you do in the city. So I would say about 50% of it is done inside of the city. Now, the setups are pretty much the exact same. You have one HQ for the CEO stuff. It's obviously your office. For the biker stuff, it's your clubhouse. And then you have 5 warehouses. For the biker stuff, it's your illegal contraband and drugs. And for the CEO stuff, it's simply where you store all of your product that you get on each mission. So all of them are the same. Now, if we dive into how assistants are paid, in the CEO stuff, these assistants are given a consistent pay based off of the number of minutes that they've been with you. So I think it's every 15 minutes or so, the associates are paid. Whereas in the biker missions, the associates are not paid based off of a timer. So you need to keep that in mind that when you are playing with your friends, if you're not doing the selling missions, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they're not actually going to be getting paid for their services. Another thing to keep in mind is the tax rate for each one of the businesses. As a CEO, you're going to receive minimal tax rate. I think your utility fee, for me, owning a CEO office and 5 warehouses is only like $2,800, whereas owning 5 warehouses as a biker, my daily tax is nearly $30,000. And once again, that happens every 48 minutes in game. So we'll talk about that once again because that will eat into profits greatly. So you do need to keep that in mind. Also, both versions of the warehouses, CEO and biker, have upgrades, although they are different in very small ways. The warehouse for the CEO stuff has vehicle delivery upgrades, which I recommend that you do. There's 3 vehicles that you can upgrade, and I recommend you do all the upgrades you can for that. And then in the biker warehouses, there are upgrades for each one of them as well: equipment, staff, and security. And I also recommend that you do all 3 of those upgrades. We'll once again talk about that a little bit at the end, but doing those upgrades will increase your ability to produce the goods quicker. Just like in the CEO stuff, doing those upgrades will allow you to likely survive the selling missions more successfully. Now, one similarity that I did notice is that raids can both occur on these warehouses and you can lose stock as well. So you need to keep that in mind, that raids can occur on both of the warehouses. It's not just a CEO thing. It also happens to be a biker thing as well. So now let's move on to the big question of this comparison, and that is which one makes the most profit. Now, for the CEO stuff, we know that you can own 5 warehouses, and let's just say you have all large warehouses. Well, each one of those can hold $2.1 million. And that is obviously going to be more than any of the biker drug warehouses that we can get in the game right now. So while the large warehouse can hold $2.1 million and then you can sell that instantaneously, these are actually the prices of all the sale prices of the maxed fully upgraded businesses. So I'll show them on the screen right now, and you've kind of been seeing them in the gameplay. But for the document forgery office, it's going to be $126,000. For counterfeit cash, it's going to be $294,000. For cocaine, it's going to be $420,000. For methamphetamines, it's going to be $357,000. And for the weed farm, it's going to be $252,000. So as you can see from there, all of those are significantly less than what you can make from the CEO. From one CEO warehouse, large that's all the way full, is going to be more than all 5 of those combined. Now, this is where we need to start breaking things down and really getting into the specifics, because even though there is a difference in price, there are other obviously subjective and intangible things that go into factoring those price differences. So obviously, if you are going to be doing the biker stuff, the 2 most profitable ones are cocaine, netting you $420,000 without any bonuses like players being in the lobby, and also methamphetamines, which is $357,000. So if you are doing the biker missions, those are the 2 that you want to focus on, cocaine and methamphetamines. Now, you can only have 1 of each. You can't just say, I want 3 cocaine labs and 2 methamphetamine labs. That's not the way it works. Rockstar limits you to 1 of each, so you can only have 1 of each business. But now, like I said, let's kind of break down the differences in those prices, because from obviously what I've just told you, you can make more money doing the CEO stuff, but there's a lot of other things to go into it as well. Let's start with work. So obviously the CEO stuff requires you to purchase, buy, and then acquire the items that you're going to sell, whereas the biker stuff doesn't require you to do any of that. The production is done on its own via NPCs inside of the factory. The only thing you have to do is to choose whether to keep the place resupplied or not. Now, this can be done through 2 ways. You can steal the supplies, which I've actually found is kind of tricky and is only done really successfully with many people, like a full MC biker club, or you can pay $75,000 to actually have it completely resupplied. So buying stock will actually fill the supply without you having to do the mission. It costs $75,000 for 5 bars of supply, or $15,000 for each bar. Now, you can also do stealing supplies, which gives you 1 bar of inventory for each person in the MC. So immediately right there, you can already see the difference between the biker work and the CEO work. The CEO work is more hands-on, meaning if you are not doing the missions, you're not going to be making any progress. And it's also obviously difficult because you, like I said, you have to devote all your efforts to doing the CEO missions. Whereas with the biker stuff, you can kind of be more hands off and you can just check in on your missions periodically and your businesses periodically to see if they need more restocking and more resupplying. So now let's talk about selling stock. Both methods are very similar. Likely it involves vehicles, having you to drop it off at a certain location. So that really isn't going to change. The CEO stuff really prepared us for this biker stuff. But the main differences between the CEO stuff and the biker stuff is, one, the CEO stuff is likely going to net you a higher profit, and it's also going to be one set price. The price is not going to change. Whereas in the biker stuff, you sell for what the value is locally. So there's actually a 1.5 times multiplier if you sell your goods in another county. So for example, $40,000 of cocaine in Sandy Shores is $40,000 when you sell it in Blaine County, but that would be $60,000 if you choose to sell it in Los Santos. So that's exactly why you see the 2 different prices, but obviously selling it at the further location will be a slightly difficult mission. Now, one thing I do need to mention before we move on is the prices. A lot of people have been asking me, what does a more expensive business get me versus a less expensive one? And absolutely nothing. The only thing it does is change location. A more expensive business will not produce more than a business that only costs cheaper or $200,000 or etc. It doesn't matter. The only thing it does change is the location. So in the description, I'll leave a link to a thread that I really recommend you guys check out. It lets you guys know how doing the upgrades will impact your business. So that is equipment and staff. And basically, the upgrades are extremely helpful. They really, really do speed up your production, and you'll see them pay for themselves over time if you do the biker stuff over and over and over again. Now, obviously, if you're on the fence and you don't see yourself doing this all the time, you might want to hold off. But bottom line, and at the end of the day, without getting too technical, that's also another benefit that the biker stuff has over the CEO stuff, is that the upgrades you do directly affect how quickly you can get this done. So you can kind of get yourself a little bit closer to making more money comparing yourself to the CEO stuff if you do the upgrades. So now let's get to the bottom line and let's compare these two. Which one is better, you're asking? And that is the CEO money making opportunity. So there's a lot of things that go along with this. Obviously, the startup is a little bit more expensive, but there's just so many things that contribute to making the CEO stuff better. The CEOs have better interaction features with access to better vehicles and better opportunities to do the missions better. Assistants are paid. You also have lower taxes on the missions themselves. And overall, it's more consistent as well. You know that when you buy something, it's going to sell for a certain amount. And there's also less variables as well. And on top of that, you do make the money a lot more quickly. I did notice that the biker missions seem to be a lot longer than the CEO selling stuff. But this is very important here because you should not ignore the biker missions, because what I've actually found out is that the biker missions will continue to produce even though you're doing the CEO stuff. I'm not joking. So if you become a CEO, your factories will still produce products even though you're doing the buying and selling crate missions. So this is exactly what you should do. You should focus your attention on the CEO stuff while the biker stuff is going on in the background. And if you need to do resupplies, you totally should. You should hit resupply. And then once all your factories reach full production, take a break from doing the CEO stuff and do the biker missions. And it'll get you, anywhere from $1.5 million to maybe $1.7 million right then and there. So is it worth it to just do the biker missions alone, comparing them to the CEO stuff? No, it's not. The CEO stuff is better. But in tandem and in combination, you can actually make more money, which is absolutely insane. And becoming a CEO will also negate the taxes that are put on you as well. For whatever reason, when you're a CEO, the business tax of like $30,000 isn't charged to you for the biker clubhouses and the biker businesses. So like I said, bottom line, if we're comparing them in one hand to another, the CEO stuff is better. There's more features, you make more money, it goes by quicker. I could go on and on and on, but you can do them together, which is really special. And that's where I think the biker stuff can really shine as kind of a bonus that you can do in between your already scheduled CEO money-making stuff. So hopefully this video was helpful, and hopefully this guide gave you a better idea of how the biker businesses work, how they compare to the CEO stuff, and honestly, how you should go about doing it. And that's what I'm going to be doing going forward too, because that's the beauty of the biker stuff. They're pretty much self-sustaining, and that's the benefit they have over the CEO stuff, is that without you doing anything, you're still going to be producing goods. So it's way more hands-off, which allows you to do stuff like the CEO missions while still making more money. So that is really awesome. Hopefully, like I said, this comparison was very helpful for you guys. I've had a couple hours now doing the biker CEO selling stuff, and hopefully, like I said, this video has been very informative and helpful for you as well. And hopefully it hasn't gone on too long. There was just so much to compare between these two businesses. So as always, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you a bigger fan of the CEO stuff or the biker stuff? Even though I very much personally think the CEO stuff is way better for making money. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.